Hi, everybody. It's Mark Rushton at markrushton.com. It is Wednesday evening, August 3rd, 2022. And it's kind of a follow-up video to my earlier video today, which was this one out here. It was the music chat. Old music should kill new music. I'm joking, of course. It was about what was it? Ted Gioia on some podcast, Plain English with Derek Thompson. They're talking about the music industry. And I wrote a little response there on Ted's Substack, and who cares? And no one cares. No one cares. That's all right. Who am I? Who am I? Well, who are you? Well, who are you? I'm Mark Rushton. I'm a recording artist and a fine artist. And I've been a recording artist for more than 20 years, and I don't have any hits, and I'm perfectly fine with that. But I'm a big fan of releasing music in the streaming era, because I released a lot of stuff in the streaming era, and I figured out how to at least try to somewhat get it out to listeners, and in turn, get a little money from it, which is that's a nice byproduct. But the reason that I started releasing music all the 20 some years ago was just kind of fun, having fun with the technology and distribution and everything like that. And then when the iTunes store came around, being able to distribute and see something that you made on one of those services was super exciting. And that was like 2004. And then I guess Spotify came to the United States about 2011, 2012, something like that. And that was a slow climb. I didn't think it was going to turn into anything. Not really, because so many other things had come and gone, and I'd released a bunch of music, and it was tough. It was a hard road as an independent artist. It's a hard road as a signed artist too. But anyway, so I don't mean to sound again. I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but I just don't like hearing the relentless negative. We'll just bring this up here. I don't really like hearing the relentlessly negative things about streaming, especially. Oh, how would I put it? Especially since so many people worldwide subscribe to music streaming services, and not just Spotify, but Pandora, Apple Music, Deezer, Amazon Music, all the other KK Resso, VK, Claro Musica, Ngami, Tidal. What else? Did I miss anything? I'm sure I missed something. There's a whole bunch out there. And it's fun. It's been a lot of fun here the last, particularly during the streaming era, being able to see your music get distributed out to additional services around the world, and then just trying to figure out a way to sort of group your music. I like to use public playlists. I like to take advantage of every they call pitching curators. Like on Spotify for artists and Apple Music for artists, or not Apple Music, for Amazon Music for artists. You can try to get into their curated playlists. And I've had to figure out on my own what constitutes a good pitch. What are they looking for? Well, they're looking for good music. Oh, please, enough with that. You can learn how to write a good pitch. All those things that just drive me nuts, It's like, oh, is your music any good? Oh, I don't like your music. Your music's not good. You're underrated. You're overrated. So, and then just again, all across the internet, you see these people beat the drums negatively about streaming services. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to use them. They're afraid of them. They don't like them. They have some sort of bias. They read something a long time ago, and so they just amplify it. they hold on to that. They don't evolve. They don't adapt, and they don't understand how people discover new music or old music these days. There's a lot of different ways to do that, and I think when you're concerned overall about the industry, um, a lot of people talk about that sort of thing. They talk about the music industry, and it's what can I say about the music? Who cares, right? Let me get down to what I really kind of want to talk about here. And I say this as a 55-year-old recording artist who releases stuff all the time. And I didn't start doing this until I was in my mid to late 30s. But this would apply honestly to anybody, like a kid. If somebody was in high school today, like a teenager, composing music on their, maybe in a computer or on an instrument, or maybe they're in college, or maybe they're just, they just come back to music. Maybe they were in band in grade school or whatever, and then they come back to it one way or the other, maybe with a different instrument, maybe computer generated, maybe recording into their computer. Who knows? And you make stuff, and you it's fun, right? We have fun with that sort of thing. But taking that next step to get it ready to distribute it, to get it out there onto the different services, to the different streaming services, that's a whole nother leap. And I think a lot of people are nervous about that sort of thing. Well, what should I use? I would say use any service except TuneCore, because the recurring cost of additional recordings at TuneCore is a little. I never understood their business model. DistroKid's fine as long as you're not too avant-garde. SoundDrop's fine. CD Baby's fine. Route Note, well, they're British. They're okay, I guess. There's a lot out there. What about this? What about I don't use it. That's what I use. I use Catapult. I used Catapult for a while. They're they're kind of like CD Baby. They're all pretty good to a certain extent. They all get you out to different services. Everybody does something a little bit different. None of them are perfect. If you're worried about your upfront cost, you shouldn't be, because it's so cheap, right? Even if you use something like CD Baby, I don't know what it is, $49, $69, something like that with UPC. Yeah, it's not that much, and you have many opportunities to earn that back, earn that fee back. I don't know. I think that's a good way to get started. CD Baby, SoundDrop, and DistroKid if you're kind of in it for the long haul, and you play straight as far as just samples and things like that. As long as you're good about that. But yeah. Let's say you're 15, you're 35, you're 55, you're 75, right? Like you're just like you're the you're the grandpa that went out and bought a synthesizer and played and messes around or something like that. Who knows? Yeah, you should be able to do that. You should be able to get your music out there onto streaming. You should learn how the certain aspects of the industry go with regard to releasing your music, getting it out there, promoting it to a particular degree. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think a lot of musicians get a lot of bad advice. A lot of bad advice. I mean, I've been hearing this for more than 20 years here. It's endemic, and I rarely come across other recording artists who understand what I'm talking about. Yeah, a few over time, but not many. They really kind of have this. I don't know, how would I say it. They feel the need to be better than everybody else. My music's better. My music's good. My music's well produced, right? Like, well, okay, that's great. Whatever. I don't know what your context is or whatever, but and so I think a lot of other people hear this or they go out to music sites, review sites, news sites, and they get a very nobody tells them, and I'll tell you this, ignore that. Ignore all that stuff. And yeah, I probably should have ignored Ted's podcast, but got kind of interested. I was kind of interested, you know. When somebody says, "Yeah, is old music killing new music?" No, well, no, it's not. What are you talking about? We've always listened to old music. Like I said, when we back in the physical media day, we would play those albums to death because we could only afford so much, especially when you're young. You don't have that much money. You'd play your old records to death, and then you get to a certain age, and then all you have are your old records. So finding new music is a whole different thing. And yeah, I'm not just listening, and it's not just hits, right? When I bring up something like see if I bring it up here. Yeah, like the Discover Weekly here, which I go through every now and then. Yeah, most of this music was not hits. I'm looking for that interesting nugget out there from the past, from the not too far past, maybe a few years ago, all the way back to the 60s, 50s. I mean, when I had Sirius XM in my car, I would listen to the 40s channel every now and then. I know I'm weird, really weird. Listen to that Canadian pop. You know, I don't know. I don't know. So, and I kind of like to ramble about this because, it wasn't just this and it wasn't just anything else recently. But I was thinking about this today and I was looking back, more than 20 years ago, um, oh, 27 years ago, I created a website for a musician, a fan site for a musician. He wasn't quite on the internet yet. I was on the internet, and that's how I started, built my first website and everything like that. And then kind of, brought fans together back in the halcyon days of the internet, right? And then eventually got to the point where, I had kids and kind of gave that up, gave that to somebody else. But it was kind of sad and I'm not going to name the artist. I mean, you can do a Wayback Machine and you can figure it out for yourself. But and I still love his music. Still love his music. He's an incredible artist, but he couldn't make the transition to really the streaming era at all. And he had biases about the industry back then. And I understand why you would have, considering what he went through as far as legal stuff, contracts and everything like that. I understand it. I understand why you'd be leery and wary of everything like that. But there are other artists out there who allowed their stuff to get onto streaming services, and that music would seep into curated playlists, and it did very, very, very well for them. I always point to Harold Budd, the the soft pedal piano player. He gets lumped in with ambient. The late Harold Budd. He had his stuff released out on the streaming service, and he's got a whole bunch of tracks out there with tens of millions of plays. And I mean, I was buying his stuff back in the 80s, and he couldn't have sold that many records back then. I'm sure he got a lot of placements and syncs over the years and usage, all that sort of stuff. But in the streaming era, he got into some very good playlists, and people would discover his music and they would build things upon that as well. And that was great. His final several years there before he died had to have been lucrative, had to have been extremely lucrative because of streaming. You never hear those stories. I'm not looking for all that, but the negative stories about streaming are every week, every day, it seems. Why? Why is that? Why is that? I can see the numbers there, you know? If somebody didn't get paid because of, you can't blame the streaming service. You have to blame the contract that the artist signed. Maybe the artist signed a really terrible contract years ago, where they gave up 85% of their profits and possibly the master recording, and who knows on the publishing. Who knows what sort of a deal they're getting on, if they're getting any sings or any placements, any of that sort of thing. And you get a manager that's embezzling money. That's like half the industry right there. You look up any artist, Sting, Billy Joel, who else? Leonard Cohen. Oh my God. Jeez, all of them. All the greats, just leeches. Terrible, terrible stories, I mean, Leonard had to go back on the road. He'd probably be swimming in that hallelujah money, right? But yeah, the streaming era, you don't hear the stories. You don't hear the positive stories about streaming. They're few and far between. The people the gatekeepers in the music news industry and all these hipster websites that just they're unreadable, and they're all reviewing the Beyonce record. Why? Because they're probably paid to do that, right? I got to say that. I did nothing wrong with that. Pay for play is pay for promotion is kind of the bedrock of the music industry. But I don't play those games. Try to do it naturally and organically and everything like that. And the big stars, the big record companies, they're selling more than just music. They're selling persona and merch and clickbait. I know I touched on that in that earlier video, but yeah, I can't. Why is that doing that there? Yeah, I can't read those sites anymore. I can't read those sites anymore, and they push stuff that's just. So, but I have to talk about it. I have to talk about it because sometimes you can't miss seeing that sort of thing, or maybe people are talking about something and you hear about it inadvertently, and then you click over and you're just like, I can't look at that. I can't look at that. That's not good for new artists. That's not good for new independent artists. You should not. I mean, those out there who are talking about that should understand. Try to be constructive. If you have a problem with a streaming service, quit holding on to try to. I don't know, but I don't like to see other recording artists who maybe they haven't published yet. I don't like the idea of them reading that sort of stuff because there's ways around it. You don't have to be. You don't have to fall in with the group to. It's like, well, yeah, Spotify is bad, or Apple Music is bad, or Pandora is. It's like what? How did we get to this? Again, as I said earlier, we're at a period of time where access to distribution and services around the world are completely democratized. Anybody in any country can release their music onto services in other countries, get it distributed around there, and collect. You can collect from, what was it with Song Trust? More than 50 or 60 societies from around the world that get paid mechanical and publishing royalties. You can sign up for that as an artist. And so there's one place, and they take 15%, and they do all that horrible, nasty work as far as your titles and collecting money from around the world. It may not be much in the beginning, but that was not easy in the past. As a publisher, it just was not easy. Or an administrator, publishing administrator, mechanical license administrator, All those terms escape me. But yeah, you can distribute around the world. You can collect that money from around the world. You can do different types of promotions. You know, building playlists. Being on. I don't know. Different types of applications where you can have your music used in. Like Instagram. You know, like today I made a reel for the art. Actually, it was for the tote bags. And I'm always interested in what is in the licensed music library of Instagram. And so I'm always like kind of picking things from, back in the day that was like import only and stuff that was hard to find. And I think in the last several months here I came across the that Miles Davis on, I think was it on the corner? It's on the Honky Tonk. The track Honky Tonk. I think it was from On the Corner. And so I selected a section of the track Honky Tonk by Miles Davis and made my Instagram reel and published it out there. And it's dumb, but it was just kind of like, it's just like the music. It was just like, yeah, look at this. I'm licensing Miles Davis's music for 15 seconds, right? You'll get, the estate will get a fraction of a penny. But this is kind of funny that I could do this and make this, and it's it's dumb fun. What can I say? And but I love the music. It's to try to connect the two and everything like that, and I could do that these days. You imagine trying to, uh, I don't know, 20 years ago, trying to, I just want to license 15 seconds of Honky Tonk by Miles Davis. We got effort it took to do something like that 20, 30 years ago. Oh my God, impossible. Be on the phone and everybody negotiating. Now it's just blanket license. Someone got that music out there. I don't know. I think that's cool. All the different things you can do. So, I'm 55 years old. And if I could go back to being, like a teenager again with, like the technology that we have today and broadband and distribution and figuring all that out, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. So that's why I release music under pseudonyms and everything. It just makes me feel young. I know I kind of work in weird ambient and avant-garde genres, but I don't know. I think there's a lot of opportunity out there, and I think most of the people doing the talking, too many of the people doing the talking out there, they're just Debbie Downers. They're Eeyores. And I know I've said this before, but you just keep hearing them over and over again, beating that broken drum, and it's just like, can we try? Can we try to teach the children how to be successful in the arts? Could we figure it out? And I'm not saying give out the cheat codes or anything like that, but could we have the marketing department just kind of, take care of business and show you the right way to do things? And you don't buy those ads, don't buy those fake followers. Don't spend too much time on social media. That's would be my advice. Spend your time making and releasing music and throwing them into playlists and get those playlists out to every streaming service. It's not hard, people. Do all your pitches whenever you can. Schedule your new releases a few weeks in advance so you can at least pitch the curators or robots or whatever they are. Do that. How's that hard, right? And instead, we got all these people out there. They're angry about something. Glass is half full. Everything sucks. We're malcontents. We don't like Daniel Eck because he's a paper billionaire. All that sort of stuff. It's just relentless, And it's like, why? Well, Tower Records is not coming back, or I mean, the record store, in general, right? You got record stores here and there, but let me tell you a story here. I probably told this story before, but who knows? But last time I was in a record store, I think it was 2004, 2005, and it was here where I am, and I could have ordered it on Amazon back then. I ordered a CD compact disc by Arthur Russell, Iowa native. Grew up in Oskaloosa. The cellist and recording artist. They made a documentary about him. Anyway, a few years ago, but this was back in 2004, and it was kind of hard to hear things back then. I'll order this. This has gotten some good reviews and stuff. So, but I was like, you know what? I'm not going to order it through Amazon. I'm not going to order it over the internet. I'll order it through my local record store, and I'll be a good person and support that. I went into the record store on my lunch hour because I lived in another town at the time. But I worked in this town. Went in there and ordered. I thought I'd like to order Arthur Russell's what was it? World of Echo, I think it was. Great, great. Wow, yeah, we can get that for you. Be a couple weeks, not a problem. Just call me when it's in. A month or two goes by, and didn't get a call. And I went in there one day, went into that record store for the last time, and I said, "Hey, Mark Rushton, I ordered an Arthur Russell CD. Has that come in yet?" The guy goes in the back, and he comes back out, and he goes, "Yeah, that came in, and yeah, we sold it. We sold that CD already." Like, what do you mean you sold that? That was a special order for me. I wanted to order that. I wanted to buy that CD. Like, well, we sold it. We can order you another one. You can sell that one too. I was not happy about it. I wasn't a jerk. I was like, well, talk to you later, right? Left. I think that was pretty much the last time I was in a record store. I might have bopped into a used record store here once or twice over the years, but that's it. That's it. And many other crimes too along the way of that sort of thing. But that was the final straw for me. As far as I'm concerned, record stores could all close. I could care less. Never going in one again. I've had enough of that. I'll embrace streaming no matter what now. Unless there's shenanigans going on. There's always shenanigans going on. Anyway, music chat. This should be the music ramble, but yeah, I maybe a just kind of a follow up, an addendum to what I was rambling about earlier. It's just it just bothers me that young musicians hear this sort of stuff with the disdainfulness, and I'm not picking on Ted at all on this. He does exhibit that sort of bias, but there's many other people out there who they're just completely disdainful of streaming services. I'm just like, I'm not going to twist your arm or anything like that, but I just kind of want to have a voice out there saying, you know what, that's actually streaming services have given me a voice. It's given me a platform. It's given me income. I would do this whether or not I got paid, but the money sure is nice, right? And figuring out systems and pouring through data, that's kind of geeky fun for me. And then, I've got my apps, and I've got my little boxes, and I've kind of built things over years and crafting things up. And I enjoy this. So when somebody comes along and, is talking crap about my livelihood and my artistic platforms and how I get distributed, I'm gonna have a little problem with that, and you should get a little pushback on that. You're not the only one. You might be in a little bubble or something like that with regard to hating streaming services, but maybe you might want to consider other people's opinions on this. Why do we not get? Why do we not get the positive stories in the music news and the journalists and the dissertation writers masquerading as music reviewers? Um, why do we not get that? Why don't we get the positive stories? Well, there's a reason why they're not going to allow them, or they're all just they're hive pack mentality, right? So that's why I don't even look at that stuff anymore. But again, it's palpable. It seeps in. It's out there, and I think that affects new artists, the young ones, the old ones who want to re-enter, and they're out there just Googling and getting all the bad advice. So I don't Google. Try not to Google, except for obvious things. Who was the king of England in 1687 or something like that? Well, there you go. But as far as like, how do I distribute my music? Be careful. Be careful. Click on news, and then you get all this just. All right. I can't believe people have hung around and listened to me ramble about this sort of stuff. But good. Yeah, you stomping up to my good times. Stomping up to my good times. When people go on there and they trash the streaming, all streaming services, And there's a lot of musicians I've came across over the years that they just hang out on the island of Bandcamp, but that's fine. That's fine. You want to hang out on the island of Bandcamp, that's fine. But I just think it's kind of weird that you don't want to put your music where everybody is. And what is your reason for not doing that, other than something you heard 10 years ago on Rolling Stone or something god awful like that, you know? So it's just, you don't have to answer to me, you don't have to answer to me. Listen, I'm going to continue to use streaming. I'm going to continue to use Bandcamp, right? I'm going to continue to use streaming services. I'm going to continue to make new music and group it together into playlists and distribute those around. And there's no secret there. There's no secret, but having fun with it. What can I say? All right, I'm done rambling. I am done rambling. It's tired. It's getting late. Have a good night. Talk to you later.